Hi everybody, it's Oni here and today bringing you part 1 of a one-shot what if I've been planning. What if Deku was in a quirk marriage? So I do hope you guys enjoy this what if, and if you do, please tell me in the comment section down below. And if we hit over 50 likes on this video, I will continue this series. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Roll that intro. I'm gonna start this video off with Izuku when he was 4 years old being bullied by Bakugo. "You stupid, weak, quirkless nobody. You're going to die as a hero, so there's no point in you even trying," Bakugo shouted at Izuku with anger in his tone. Without Izuku cowering like in the original canon, he stood up for himself and punched Bakugo, but without Izuku realizing, he left a mark on Bakugo's face which infuriated him, as Bakugo let out a big explosion, about 1 time stronger than what he normally does, as he almost killed Izuku in the process. As Bakugo never realized, but Izuku's muscles started to contort and change when he got hit, as most of the teachers came outside because they heard a big explosion, as they saw what happened to Izuku, as the teachers shouted at Bakugo to get back into the classroom. "You've been put in timeout, mister." As this sight, the teacher called the ambulance, and Izuku's mum, Inko Midoriya, is in this timeline. She is a bodybuilder, so she's more respected and more well known in Japan's area for training future heroes like Kamui Woods, Mount Lady, and Mirako. Izuku was dropped off at the hospital. Inko was standing there, very, very scared for her son's life. As the moment she saw that, she rushed to his side, wondering if he was okay, as Izuku gave a weak thumbs up, but Inko knew he wasn't okay, as the doctors rushed him into the hospital to do some tests to make sure he was fine, or he was just extremely injured. As the doctors did a bunch of tests and realized he wasn't quirkless, he actually had a quirk. Why did the kids bully him then about him being quirkless, as the teacher would have told the hospital about what happened? As Inko looked and asked, "What is his quirk?" as the doctors replied saying, "Muscle augmentation," or you could say muscle growth quirk. This quirk basically increases his muscle strength and gains muscle twice as fast or 5 times fast, depending if he wants to or not. Like for example, if he trained for almost like a year, he can get a full bodybuilder physique in only a span of a year, instead of waiting for 5 years of training to get the physique he wanted. As this excited Inko, knowing her baby boy has a quirk similar to what her job is, as this spreaded throughout the gym's members, knowing the gym member's son has a bodybuilder quirk, as most of them thought he was going to go into the bodybuilder industry and get famous that way, but Izuku was still set on being a hero, as he trained his body to its physical limit, but it could only be limited to his quirk. As this had to make Inko stepped in because she realized her baby boy was always tired, as she went into Izuku's room noticing he was training, as Inko told him to take it easy for a while and not strain your body. Take it really easy, then slowly build up your muscle over time instead of just doing it rapidly. If you do it rapidly, you can have natural consequences to your body when you're older, Izuku, sweetheart. As Izuku complied to this, as he stopped training for the day. As we do a time skip of the next day in preschool. As Izuku was just walking into his preschool, multiple kids came running to him and asking him what his quirk was. As Izuku replied saying it was a muscle enhancer. It can increase his muscle duration and durability, he can also get stronger, twice and triple times as fast probably, if he trained his body the amount he could, as Izuku explained it in the best he could. As everyone thought he had the more powerful quirk, better than Bakugo's, most people thought, but Bakugo hopped on his desk and said, "That little weakling couldn't beat me even if he tried to. I am the strongest #1 hero here." "And that's a fact," Bakugo shouted, as half the people in their classroom started laughing at Bakugo, thinking his personality he could become a hero. "Don't make us laugh, Bakugo," random kid shouted. "You can't even be a hero if you tried. The ego that you have, you could probably be suited for a villain." Most of the kids contorted, saying, "Yeah, that's true. He has a villain IQ." As the teacher came walking in and sat down, as they started their lessons, as we do a time skip of 9 years into the future, with Izuku now being 13 years old, as he was just finishing his second year of middle school, as he was walking out of his middle school, as he was greeted with Bakugo and his egotistical friends again. "You stupid weak Deku, fight me right here and now," Bakugo shouted. "Or are you too weak to fight me?" Bakugo retorted. As at this point, Izuku trained his heart off, trying to be as strong as he could. As Izuku said, "I'm not fighting you, Bakugo, because I'm not giving you the satisfaction of it," Izuku replied. As Bakugo just got infuriated by this, as he threw an explosion to Izuku. But before the explosion could hit, Izuku dodged it and got Bakugo into an arm lock, stating that if he does this again, he will break his arms. And then he wouldn't be able to become a hero with crippled arms, then would he? As Bakugo said, "Let go of me, you stupid nerd," as Bakugo threw an explosion at Izuku, ripping off his t-shirt, revealing his well-toned muscled body, way better than what it was in the canon, around about 10 times better than the original. As most people looked at Izuku thinking, "Damn, he's built," but then remembered he has a quirk that helps him out with this, but still, they were shocked nonetheless. A strong middle school student with a toned body was near them. As this caught the eye of Bakugo, thinking, "You think you're strong only because you got the muscle build quirk?" As Bakugo threw another explosion, as Izuku avoided it, punching Bakugo straight in the stomach, knocking the wind out of him, also knocking him out in the process, as everyone cheered for Izuku. As before that, a teacher walked out, screaming, "Bakugo, get in the principal's office now, you too, Midoriya." As Izuku and Bakugo walked into the principal's office, while Izuku was shirtless and Bakugo was on the floor, as they all waited for Bakugo to wake up. As the moment he did, he had a long talk with the principal about his bullying attendance, as the teacher stated if he bullies anyone or tries to threaten to kill them again, he will be expelled from this school and never be able to return or apply for the UA you've been so desperately to keep on reminding us about, Bakugo Katsuki. As Bakugo stormed off by slamming the door shut, as the teacher talked to Izuku a little while to ask him what he's been doing and how is his mother, because the teacher has a couple of talks with his mother every so often because of all the fights that Bakugo have been putting Izuku in, because Bakugo's ego cannot rest until he defeats Izuku for some reason. As Izuku walked out of the principal's office and set it off home, as we cut to Endeavor and Shoto, as Shoto was just finishing off her argument with her father, saying, "Father, I do not want to go to UA, and I'm not marrying him. So go kill yourself, you bloody bastard. I am not marrying him. For fuck's sake, leave me alone, Endeavor." As Shoto shouted this at the top of her lungs, the neighbor noticed that Shoto was shouting at her father again, but for a different reason. She was being forced into a marriage that she didn't want to go into, as the neighbor shouted over the fence, saying, Endeavor, if she doesn't want to go into it, leave her alone. As Endeavor replied, saying, "Shut up, you, this has nothing to do with you." As the neighbor shouted back, saying, "I'm just giving some friendly advice. You can't force her to do stuff she doesn't want to. She's a growing woman, and you can't force her to marry someone she doesn't like." As Endeavor shouted back, saying, "Shut the fuck up, you ignorant bastard. Now go back over that fence." As Endeavor shouted at the top of his lungs. As Endeavor replied, saying, "You will be marrying Izuku Midoriya if you want to or not. He is a member of a gym, and plus he has a quirk that can help out our family genetics with the quirks, and that gets our body ready for the quirks that we can get. You got it, Shoto?" And Shoto just huffed and walked out of the house. In a infuriated rage, she decided just to go onto Dagobah Beach and watch the sunset. Normally this calms her down. As she was sitting on the beach, minding her own business, laid on her back, looking up at the sun, getting set in the nice orange, beautiful sky. As with it being fate or coincidence, Izuku was running past, seeing her laid on the beach. As he went to go see if she was alive or dead, because she was motionless at the time. As Izuku sat right next to her, saying, "Hello, you okay?" Izuku said. As Shoto shot up, getting ready to use her quirk to defend herself, just in case this man tried to hurt her. But Izuku instantly put his hands up, saying, "No, no, 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 you got the wrong idea, you got the wrong idea," Izuku said in a very worried tone. As Izuku shot back, saying, "I wasn't going to do anything, I promise." As then Izuku pulled out his ID, saying, "If you think I'm a grown man, you're entirely wrong. I am so sorry if you think that. Thanks to the nature of my quirk, it makes me look a lot bigger, tougher, and imitating, as you would like to say." As Shoto snatched his ID out of his hands, looking at it to say he was only 13. As Shoto sighed, saying, "Okay, what's your quirk?" she said. "My quirk's muscle enhancer. It basically enlarges my muscles to the point it's basically like super strength." As then Shoto forgot completely about the guy she was meant to be getting married to. As then Shoto quickly sat back down and started talking to him for hours. Well, it seemed like hours, but it was only 10 minutes. As then Izuku said, "Okay, I'm gonna have to go, or back up to running. I'll see you next time, yeah?" Izuku said. As Shoto replied, saying, "Okay, goodbye," as they all went their separate ways. As we do a time skip of the next day while Izuku's training in the gym. As Izuku was training, he saw a hero walk in with his daughter. This person being Shoto Todoroki and Enji Todoroki, aka Endeavor. As they all walked in to see if Inko was in, as the boss said, one of the employees said, "Yes, she is. Will just be a second." As they all called Inko to the front, saying, "Someone called Enji Todoroki is here to see you, miss." As she came rushing outside and shouted, "Oh, hi Endeavor, how are you doing?" As Endeavor replied, saying, "I'm doing fine, thank you. I'm just asking this, do you have the wedding proposal script ready, so we can get these two quirk married?" "Us two? What do you mean, us two?" Inko said, because she had no idea about this at the time. "You know, quirk marriage? I talked to this over the phone twice." As Inko replied, saying, "Fucking hell, that must have been one of our employees." "Sorry, I'm not accepting this quirk marriage," Inko replied. As Endeavor said, "You don't have a choice. You've already signed it off." As Inko said, "No, I didn't. When the hell did I do that?" As Endeavor showed the license and the paper saying that she signed it. But Inko said, "That's not my handwriting. Like, quite seriously, that isn't my handwriting." As Inko pulled up another paper showing him is her handwriting. As Endeavor was shocked, thinking, "We've been had." As Shoto looked over to see the guy that talked to her yesterday. As they were both talking, she walked over to him and had a talk with him for a while. As Endeavor and Inko noticed this, as they thought, "Is that your son?" Endeavor said, "Yeah, that's my son, what of it? He is going to marry my daughter, if he wants to or not." As Inko slapped him, saying, "You go near my son, I fucking kill you, Endeavor. I'll show all this to the fucking police if you do that." As Endeavor scoffed and walked away, leaving his daughter there with Izuku. As Izuku and Shoto both talked for the day, as Shoto brought up that their parents might be forcing them to get married soon, as Izuku gasped, saying, "Why the hell would they do that?" As Shoto said, "I do not know, but it seems that they want to create a strong kid." As Izuku walked to his mother, saying, "Is this true, Mom?" As Inko said, "What, son?" As Izuku replied, saying, "The forced marriage between quirks. Is that true?" "Oh, Endeavor brought this up, but I declined it." As Izuku sighed, saying, "Thank God. I didn't want to have to go through that." As Izuku and Shoto both hanged out for the rest of the day. As this led Shoto getting an over-obsession with looking at Izuku with his top off, as Shoto slowly became obsessed, as she couldn't stop hanging out with Izuku to the point she was acting more like a yandere than a normal person. But she still wanted to be with him, not because of a stupid quirk marriage her father made. As this went on to the final day of middle school, where Izuku was just sitting at his desk waiting for the teacher to come in. As the teacher did, he came in with altitude tests, saying, "Okay, we're doing altitude tests today. Okay, has everyone got everything?" As everyone moaned and groaned, stating that, "Oh, for God's sake, why do we have to do these?" As the teacher just threw up in the air and just said, "Who am I kidding? You all want to be heroes?" As they all just started showing off their quirks, but Izuku on the other hand sat there, not using his quirk. As the same things happened in canon, but when Bakugo jumped on his desk and shouted he was going to be the best, Izuku pulled him back off his chair and threw him onto his chair once again, stating Bakugo to shut up and listen. As everything went as canon, but Bakugo didn't tell Izuku to kill himself for the statal reason that he was on his last warning and said he wants to get expelled. If he did do anything, he would get expelled. So Bakugo just stopped bullying people for a while. As Izuku took the same route as he did in the original canon, as Izuku did the same thing with the sludge villain, but this time he threw wind pressure. Yes, wind pressure. I get what you mean, boys. Threw wind pressure to the sludge villain and dispersed it in the matter of seconds, like All Might did with his Texas Smash. As everything carried on, All Might captured the villain, threw off, but this time All Might didn't drop the bottle, so no second encounter. As Izuku was just walking home, as he was being followed by someone none other than Shoto Todoroki. As Shoto got closer to Izuku, as Izuku started to run and cut a corner to get faster to his house. As Shoto couldn't catch up, as she just gave up for the night. And that'll be where we're leaving off. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll try and make part 2 a little bit more entertaining if we do get the 50 like goal, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.